you there?
Oh, good morning. Can you hear me?
There you go. Can you hear me?
Perfect. Yeah, we can hear you there.
Okay.
How's
We're
everybody
going
doing?
live to YouTube right here at the CVRD conference room.
Okay, great.
As soon as you get
Well, thanks everybody. am I able to share my screen, or are you guys going to control the presentation from your side?
We'll control it from here.
Sounds good. Okay. Well, thanks everyone. My name is Kellen Truant. I'm the operations manager for the North Island area with the ministry, and appreciate the opportunity to meet with everyone and share a quick presentation and give you a few updates on what's been happening with the ministry over the last year. Okay, yeah, feel free to move ahead a page. Okay, so on our agenda today, just first we want to go over a quick update on the ministry, or just an overview of the ministry and Vancouver Island District. Then we'll go through an overview of the service area, specifically for the North Island. Just a general discussion on our operations and maintenance and development services, which are our two main branches, run out of the Courtney office. We'll have a chance to discuss some of the major accomplishments, some of the works that have been completed over the last year, 2019, 2020, and we can also give an update on our upcoming planned work for 2021. Next slide, please. Okay, so this is an overview of the Vancouver Island District. So just in general, again, the Ministry of Transportation and Infrastructure builds, maintains, and improves the provincial transportation network. We also provide transportation services and implement policies to allow for the safe and efficient movement of people and goods. So the province is divided into 11 districts. I believe it's about 11. The Vancouver Island District is shown here. Each district is then subdivided into service areas. So we are within the North Island area, Area 3. That's at the top there. Okay, next slide, please. So just zooming in a bit here. So this is the service area, Area 3, that we fall within. So our area covers the section basically from Cook Creek Road north to the north end of the island, Port Hardy there, and as well as the Northern Islands. So this area includes a number of numbered routes, such as Highway 19, 19A, Highway 28 out to Gold River, and Highway 30 out to Port McNeill, as well as numerous side roads. I believe we are looking after the majority of these side roads outside of municipal boundaries, and as well as a few within. So just some overall inventory items. We've got about 3,474 lane kilometers and 312 structures. So road and bridge maintenance for our area is performed by Main Road North Island Contracting. This is a 10-year contract running between 2018 to 2028 with an initial annual cost of approximately $19.5 million. So our maintenance contractor has approximately 9 yard locations located all across service area 3, and they're all shown on this map here. Okay, thank you very much. I can move to the next slide. Okay, so as I mentioned, so we have a contract in place with Main Road North Island for road and bridge maintenance services. So our district operations branch is responsible for administration of the maintenance contract. And we've got here a brief overview on the maintenance services that are provided. Now, I'm not sure if we have Chris Cowley on this morning. He was going to speak to some of the main services and differences between them. Okay, well, that's fine. If Chris isn't available, I can speak to these. So we've got basically our maintenance services are broken up into two major groups. We've got routine and quantified services. So when we're speaking about these two different types of maintenance, essentially routine services are works where the quantity is generally determined by response frequency. So we've got a few examples there, which include temporary patching, to be surface cleaning, sweeping, debris removal, snow removal, litter collection, sign cleaning, traffic control. And then we've got our quantified services, which are generally an annual quantity of work allocated to meet the needs of the area and our infrastructure. So this would include some activities such as permanent patching or paving, vegetation control, grading, ditch maintenance, culvert replacement, and sign replacement.
Hi, Kellen. Sorry, I had a microphone issue there, but I think you covered
No problem.
it very much. Apologize.
Thanks, Chris. Anything to add, or did I cover it there?
No, yeah, I think that's right on. Just a bit of a difference that routine services, there's no sort of cap on the amount to that we do. It's just as needed. And then, yeah, quantified, there is the annual allocation. So there's sort of a cap on how much we're able to do within the contract on those ones.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, we can move on to the next slide then. Okay, so I've included here some key contacts for our ministries, operations and maintenance. So for the operations group here in the district, your ministry contacts are Mike Pearson, district manager, myself, Kellen Truitt, operations manager for Area 3, and our road area manager for the majority of the CVRD boundary is Stacey McCrae. I've also included the contact information for the Traffic Management Center, the TMCBC, which is basically our central hub for collecting and communicating road and weather conditions and traffic information across BC. Then we've also got key contact information for Main Road North Island, Chris Cowley, general manager, who is with us today, as well as Justin Burgers, which is the operations manager. And we've also included their 24-hour hotline there, which could be again contacted for road conditions, maintenance concerns, etc. Okay, thanks. Next slide, please. Okay, now I'd just like to speak a little on our development services branch. So development services will oversee permitting, approvals, and regulations to ensure that activities on and around our roads are carried out smoothly and safely. So we've got here some examples of the sort of applications and requests that they will look at. This will include reviewing and issuing permits for highway use. This could be for a number of different scenarios, such as accessing our highway, performing, constructing and maintaining a work alongside the highway, such as structures or utilities, as well as could be for coordinating and holding a special event along our roads. Development services also look at referrals and public requests. Some examples here: development permits, rezonings, reviewing official community plans, road closures or road name changes. And they also look at subdivision requests, applications for municipal subdivision along controlled access highways or rural subdivisions outside of municipal boundaries. Okay, next slide, please. So I've just got here some statistics just to give you an idea of the volume that our development services group handles. So between January and October this year, our office received 42 new approval referrals, 119 new permit applications, 26 new subdivision applications. And your key contacts for this group will be Brendan Kelly, who is the Senior Development Services Officer, or Talina McCrae, who's the Area DS Officer. Okay, next slide, please. Thank you. Perfect. Okay, so now I'd just like to highlight some of the work that's been done over the past year. So for 2019-2020, we've got resurfacing and widening along Lazo Road. This is between Guthrie Road to Simba Road. Had some resurfacing on Vivian Way out in Chips Point. Chip sealing in the Williams Beach area, shoulder widening along the northbound lane of Highway 19A between Fanny Bay to Union Bay. And then numerous culvert replacements, a few to list here. We've got Beulah Creek and Central Road in Hornby Island, Wellington Road, Kentwood Road, Condensory Road has a few just completed. Fraser Road, we have numerous planned for Solom River Road, Forbidden Plateau Road, Fitzgerald Road, as well as some culvert lining to extend the service life of some of our cross culverts along Highway 19. Okay, then just wanted to discuss some of the upcoming planned projects for 2021. So we've got plans to complete the phase 2 of the Back Road Trail. That's the section between McDonald Road to Satlude Crescent. We've also got shoulder widening, resurfacing, and drainage improvements along Clarkson Ave at Saratoga Beach. Highway 19A is on our numbered route resurfacing program between Courtney and Oyster River. We've also got Lake Trail Road on our side roads program. We have plans to install a new pedestrian signal and crosswalk along Ryan Road at Cowichan Avenue, and plan to be completing detailed design for 4-laning of Highway 19A between 17th Street to Comox Road. Okay, now lastly, just wanted to speak to some of the funding and grant opportunities available through the ministry. So these are funding opportunities in place to help communities and groups to expand, maintain, and upgrade their infrastructure and promotes employment and economic growth in the area. So the first I'd like to highlight is Active Transportation Infrastructure Grants Program. This, like I mentioned, provides funding to support development of active transportation infrastructure. I just want to highlight that applications for the 2021-22 grant intake will be accepted over the winter. And we've included the link to the program website there. And then also worth highlighting is the Transit Minor Betterments Program, which provides funding for delivery of transit infrastructure upgrades, generally located on ministry right-of-way. This could include various types of infrastructure, new transit stops, or improvement to existing sidewalk and traffic island improvements, or even bus stop lighting. So thank you very much. That concludes the update presentation. So thanks everyone for allowing me the chance to speak today. And if you have any questions, please feel free.
Well, thank you very much. It's been a long time coming. Certainly since the last award of the maintenance contract, we haven't really had a chance at this Electoral Area Services Committee to speak directly with the ministry or with the contractor. And I'm sure we probably have some questions here. I think you hit a nerve when you talked about active transportation, because our emails are always full of that one, as Stacy will probably attend. Director Hamir has a question.
Thank you, Chair. And yes, I'd like to reiterate thanks to the ministry for presenting today. We really appreciate, I think all of the area directors appreciate the updates that you've provided. And it's something that probably is the highest volume of emails that I get is around our roads and infrastructure. I just wanted to clarify a couple of things. You mentioned that grant for active transport. Is that meant primarily for municipalities, or do regional districts, are they able to access that granting for roads that they don't really have much control over? Just wondering if you could clarify that.
I believe that is that's open to the regional district as well.
Okay, so maybe something we can follow up with our staff around looking at that. We had a presentation about a month ago from our Comox Valley Cycling Coalition, and where they highlighted some of the very high needs areas for bike lanes. And they informed us that they actually had a presentation to Modi as well upon your request. And I'm just wondering if you could maybe provide some background as to what the team is looking at here in the Comox Valley, and what they did with the information that the Cycling Coalition presented.
Yeah, so I can speak briefly to that. Yes, we did coordinate, and it was lovely to get a chance to meet with that group. I think they made a very good presentation, and well laid out the cycling priority improvements that they'd like to see. So that's very helpful to us, and again, it helps us as we're sort of planning our future program to determine what are the highest priority projects that the Cycling Coalition would like to see, and how we can fit those priorities into our plans whenever possible.
Maybe if I could have one follow-up. Thank you. So one of the roads that the Cycling Coalition highlighted was, around Condensory, coming up to the bridge. And I'm wondering, with the 5th Street Bridge project that's coming up, is that road going to have any kind of priority for Modi going forward? Because we've had a number of cyclists contact us to say how dangerous it is currently, and with traffic being rerouted more so along that corridor. Is that in Modi's list of priorities?
Yeah, so we've also received some correspondence regarding the Condensory Road. Yeah, and I'd have to say, yes, I mean, definitely, as we've responded, there are a number of constraints around shoulder widening through that section, although it is definitely on our radar and something that we would look to move forward with if possible. No plans at this time. Yeah, essentially some physical and property restraints that are that would be the main roadblocks to getting anything done in the near future there.
Okay, thank you.
Just to follow up on that, my understanding on that stretch of road is it was built long before standard highway right-of-way widths were established, and some of the actual property that is Modi property is much narrower than the current average, so it's difficult. But I'm just wondering, I'm just going to jump in on this one, because when you talk about active transportation, are you aware of anything at the ministerial level, like a policy paper or anything else coming out that maybe will change the focus more towards active transportation, especially in electoral areas where we basically have only the power of persuasion over roads and trails and stuff? So I'm just wondering, is there anything coming down the line we should look forward to in the next year or two that you're aware of?
No changes to that program for the immediate future that I'm aware of, but of course, if anything does come up, we could certainly share it with you and discuss further.
Thank you. Director Arbor has a question.
Yes, thank you for coming today. And there's a part of me, I certainly appreciate you guys doing this. There's a part of me that wish we did it twice a year rather than once a year, because my list accumulates over time. And I think giving thanks is important. So I represent the corridor from Royston to Fanny Bay and Hornby and Denman as well. So like my fellow directors, roads are always part of the conversation, even though we're not responsible for them. So I do want to give thanks, a lot of kudos about the Highway 19A shoulder that you just put in. That's really well received. I think you guys did a great job at Beulah Creek as well with the culvert replacement, and worked with the neighbor for the revegetation plan there after the fact. So that was really nice to see. Same with Vivian Way. So I just see a lot of good things that you guys are doing. But I would just, one more for your development services. I know there's a lot of work going on as well with Union Bay planning and Union Bay Estates, and I really appreciate that you guys are taking care in that work and helping make some very consequential decisions, I think, for the long-term future of that area. So just a couple of local things, and then I'll just have a couple of higher level ones. And that's just for your awareness. I'm not requesting anything from you guys, just that awareness. But I almost have one for each community. I continue to hear about the Big Hill on Denman. I think from the active transportation on Denman Road, the residents have been talking about that one for 15 years. They hope something can be figured out. I think you guys have a report and things, but I don't know if that will ever make the priority list to look at that one. In Fanny Bay and the school zone in Hornby, people are still asking questions about whether there's, for Ships Point Road, the chance to change the speed zone, just lower it a little bit. And on Hornby at the school zone, people are asking whether it's possible to have those flashing signs, or, you know, those just those signs that says reduce your speed or anything like that. That's the parent advisory committee was talking to me about that. And the last community I have there is Royston. I think there's, as part of active transportation, I was talking about that with some of our staff, but Royston Road, Royston is really kind of well served from active transportation, but there's a huge gap between Roy Creek and Cumberland, where it goes from a nice broad shoulder to danger zone for bicycles and others. And there's quite a bit of traffic on that road. So if that ever makes the list, I think that'd be really wonderful. Lastly, and feel free to give me feedback on any of those items. And lastly, the two other ones may be not specifically for you guys, but I like to raise them anytime I get a chance in any rooms. I'm also on the Island Corridor Foundation Board. I think we still have a lot of work, I think, to better get BC Transit, the Ministry of Transportation, the Island Corridor, to really think about the long-term future of that corridor and how we can collaborate better around it. And I mean, it's all different organizations that have a stake in it, but we obviously paid attention to the South Island transportation study that was done. And I know there's talks of a broader integrated transportation plan for the rest of Vancouver Island. So if that ever hits the deck, I think you'll find the Comox Valley as a region that would be very enthused to embark in these discussions with you guys and with other stakeholders. So that's my list for today. And if you have any thoughts or feedback, that's great. Otherwise, I appreciate the work that you guys do.
Well, that was a smaller list than I had imagined, Daniel. I think Director Hamir has further.
This is actually a question to staff. In light of the active transport grants that are available, are staff aware if we have any applications in the queue for that grant?
Either Alana through planning and policy or Doug through community parks want to comment on that?
Thank you, Russell. Through the chair to the directors, we received 2 grants, one for infrastructure, and that's a project that Parks, Electoral Area Parks has underway on Hornby. And then the second grant we received was to complete a regional network plan. And so that grant was awarded to us in September. The grant requires that we complete the work by the end of March. And Kellen's reference to this next intake, I'll have a look and see if we'd be eligible for it. I suspect not, because of our success with the previous round.
Well, there you go. We got one oar in the water anyway. I just want to thank you guys. I understand, some of the challenges that you must face when you talk about 35,000 kilometers of roads in the North Island, multiple bridges, culverts, ditches, everything else under the sun. I know we're tasked with coming up with a kind of a master capital replacement plan, and I'm sure it pales by comparison to what's on your plate. So it's tough to pick and choose, but this actually goes up to Stacey because as elected officials and as an electoral area elected official, our tools in our toolbox are very limited. And I think it was alluded to that most of the time, at least 50% of the time, the complaints we get are about jurisdictions beyond our control. Many of them, of course, involve the MOTI and bridges, flooding, culverts, roads deteriorating, potholes, all that stuff. And of course, you know, snow removal. This goes out to Chris as well. So it's a tough one to get out there, but I think that the general public is totally unaware that we can't just snap our fingers and make things happen. That our only avenue is to get in touch with you guys and, you know, and see if you're aware of the issue and what have you. So, but it's difficult because when you're on the campaign trail, every second door you knock on, they want to take issue with something to do with Modi, not us at all. So you try to, you know. So my question actually is to Stacy, and I hope you don't mind, Stacy, that I CC you on a lot of these rants that I get. It's not that I'm, you know, trying to add to your stress level there, but at least it gives the general public a focus onto who to address their concerns with. So just to let you know that I do absolutely appreciate what you guys are up against, and but I think it's important that we transfer the concerns through to the proper people. I'm just wondering if that's the way it should happen. Should I just go through and keep on doing this the way we're doing it, or?
Oh, yeah, thanks for the question, Director Grave. Yeah, you certainly keep passing those on to us. Maybe I wanted to just sort of speak to Director Hemir, her question about the presentation that the Comox Valley Cycling group gave to us. And so at our request was that a lot of my, do I have a bad echo there?
Sorry? Oh, it's not bad. We've been on worse.
Okay, I guess it's just on my end, so I'll try and just talk through it. Yeah, so like you, a lot of the requests I get are for active transportation and are from the Cycling Coalition and cyclists as well. So that's why we asked them to put together their top lists of things they wanted us to focus on, so that we don't get new requests, you know, daily or weekly. And so that's why that presentation was really beneficial to us. And I realized that people do go through you as well. So yeah, just keep sending them our way and letting them know that that's our responsibility.
Make sure they put you on their Christmas list, so to speak. Also, I'd like a quick shout out to Kevin Carter, and I know he's not on this call, but the work that was done around the Condensatory Bridge and putting those service corridors on the upriver side of the bridge, because of course anybody who grew up in Comox Valley knows it's a rite of passage to jump off the Condensatory Bridge into the water, and putting all the corridors to KFN IR number 2 on that side would have been kind of disruptive, to say the least. So just thanks to Kevin next time you see him for doing that work. We got one more question from Director Arbor.
Yeah, thanks. Because there was a follow-up on the Cycling Coalition. I'm just wondering too, for feedback, a bit like the Cycling Coalition, but whether it is useful for you guys to hear our list of priority or not. And I know when the Cycling Coalition came here, they did explain that the reason why they came up with that list of priority, which you just explained, and they did acknowledge that they had missed the Royston Road one. And I think for Area A, that would be probably one of the main ones. So they assured me they would add it to their list, but I'm just wondering from your perspective, is it good for us to spend a bit of time on our side coming up with those lists of requests each year, or it's just on your side, it's more general awareness?
I think it's just general awareness. I think Alana could probably speak to this, that I think the CVRD's got some work going on actually identifying with their gap analysis. And so the Cycling Coalition is just, you know, one group to add information to that list.
Well, I see a lot of nodding heads around this table here. And certainly, I'm sure I speak for the committee in saying that we certainly do like to have these kind of discussions. If we can make it an annual event, usually in the fall, that would be great. And until that time, best wishes for the new year. It couldn't be too much worse than 2020. And hopefully we don't get too many calls about unplowed roads and whatever that I have to shovel through to Stacy and Chris. Anything else? So thank you again very much. It was definitely appreciated on our side.
On our end too, just want to mention, if there's value in meeting more than once a year, we're certainly open to that. I think that's, something we can look at if it would work for the group.
Well, let's see if we can get staff to organize something like this maybe earlier in the new year, when the flowers start to bud and the birds start to sing.
Sounds great. Thanks.
Thank you all very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Okay, we need a motion to receive that report. Okay, all in favor? That carries. And I guess nothing left to do but motion to adjourn. All in favor? That carries.